I thought this was the most appropriate picture to use when it came to discussing this story that I'm bringing to you right now. And shout out to someone on Instagram sent me this story. I can't remember their name, but they sent it to me, and I'm about to talk about it right now. And it actually has been a while since I've done a Bill Cosby story on my channel. But shout out to people like Your World, or Harvey, aka Your World, Nicole's View, because I know out of the people that are in this space, they're the ones that really stayed on top of the Bill Cosby stuff. And I'm sure that they're going to talk about this as well. Hopefully they do. But what I'm talking about right now, it actually just is an article that just came out today on March 7, 2022, which is the day I'm recording this, where the title reads, Supreme Court Won't Review Decision That Freed Bill Cosby. Now, as we all know, Bill Cosby was released from prison in the summer of 2021, which was last year. And a lot of, basically they had no grounds to keep him in prison anymore. It was more grounds to get him out of prison than have him stay in there for the remaining of the time that he was supposed to do. And a lot of people were upset about it. Yeah, people questioning how did that happen. And a lot of them threw out that technicality word, and they were misusing it and all of that good stuff. So they tried to pressure the court system on why he was freed, and now it has come back and said that we don't have to tell you why he was free, and we're moving forward. Just know that this man is free and there's nothing more we can do. Now, some people have suggested that the reason why they're not pursuing the reasoning as to why is because it might be something that comes out of that they don't want to be exposed to the public, which is something many of us probably already knew. That he shouldn't have been there in the first place. This was a 3-ring circus of a trial, case, investigation, whatever you want to call it, for the last few years that they've been doing this, even back to the first trial that occurred. And here we are right now. So I truly believe that they knew that they didn't have a case with that, and to try to review it would expose something that they did not want put out there. But I think a lot of the people that are mad about this whole situation are in denial themselves, and they know the truth as well, but they just can't own up and face it themselves. Like many of us have already knew that this was a farce of a trial and case to begin with. So I'm gonna go ahead and now and read the article that is coming from news.yahoo.com, and it is coming out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The U.S. Supreme Court announced Monday without comment that it would not review Bill Cosby's sexual assault case, leaving him a free man and ending a 2-decade legal drama that shifted the cultural landscape, destroyed the groundbreaking black actor's reputation. And that's the part right there. Those key words: destroyed the groundbreaking actor's reputation. That's all they wanted. At the end of the day, that's what they wanted, to destroy his reputation. And unfortunately, they successfully have done that. That means when Bill Cosby passes on, this is what they're going to harp on the most. I can imagine those sordid headlines right now. Disgraced actor who had all these allegations against him has passed away. That's one of them right there that I can think of. And I'm sure there are going to be several others that are going to follow. The High Court, whose 9 members include 2 men accused of sexual misconduct themselves, declined to review a stunning decision out of Pennsylvania that released Cosby from prison in June over the word of a former prosecutor who said he made a secret promise with Cosby's lawyer that he could never be charged. A Cosby spokesperson expressed sincere gratitude to the justices for the ruling on behalf of Cosby and his family, and said he was the victim of a reprehensible bait and switch by the prosecutor and trial judge in the case. This is truly a victory for Mr. Cosby, but it shows that cheating will never get you far in life, and corruption that lies within Montgomery County District Attorney's office has been brought to the center stage of the world, spokesperson Andrew Wyatt said. The office of Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele, that piece of shit, in Philadelphia suburbs did not have an immediate comment. Accuser Andrea Constant, that bitch, planned to issue a statement later in the day. Steele has said there's no evidence that Cosby had a legally binding agreement that he could never be prosecuted. His predecessor, Bruce L. Castor Jr., never put in writing or told anyone in his office about it. He never mentioned it in public until new evidence emerged and the case was reopened a decade later. A secret agreement that permits a wealthy defendant to buy his way out of a criminal case isn't right, still argued in court in 2016 as he pressed to send the case to trial. Montgomery County Judge Stephen O'Neill found Castor's testimony on the point not credible and sent the case to trial. However, the state Supreme Court later ruled that whether or not the supposed agreement was legally binding, Cosby relied on it when he gave eye-popping and potentially incriminating testimony in a lawsuit later filed by Constant. The principle of fundamental fairness that undergirds due process of law in our criminal justice system demands that the promise be enforced, Justice David N. Wecht wrote last year. During the deposition, a seemingly freewheeling Cosby gave long stream of consciousness answers to questions from Constant's lawyer. He detailed his sexual involvement with a string of young women, a few still in their teens, over the years, and he recalled giving several of them, including Constant, alcohol or pills, while he remained sober. I don't hear her say anything, and I don't feel her say anything, and so I continue and I go into the area that is somewhere between permission and rejection. I am not stopped, Cosby said in the 2006 deposition, describing a sexual encounter that came after he gave her 3 pills for stress, which she said knocked her out. He was arrested in the Constant case on December 30th, 2015, just days before the 12-year statute of limitations was set to run out. Still had reopened the case after the Associated Press went to federal court to unseal Cosby's long-buried testimony in Constant's lawsuit. He went on trial in the criminal case in suburban Philadelphia in June 2017. The jury could not reach a verdict. Less than a year later, after media reports about media mogul Harvey Weinstein's sexual abuse of women galvanized the Me Too movement, a second jury convicted Cosby of drugging and molesting Constant. The AP does not typically identify people who say they are victims of sexual assault unless they grant permission. Constant has done so. That's because several of them were lying. That is why. I don't know why they want to harp on the fact that these women or they don't want to talk about the fact that many of these women were lying through their teeth and probably lying through other places as well. But the fact of the matter is, this chapter in Bill Cosby life, let's close that. Let's seal that thing shut and throw it in the ocean. I don't care where they put it at. It's done. It's pretty much over. Now, like I said, their mission, unfortunately, is accomplished. And that was destroying this man's reputation. And in his later years, in his elder years, they said, we ain't going to get him in his youth or in his peak years. We're going to get him in his elder years. But at the same time, I hope Bill Cosby and his team go heavily after the people that did him wrong. And that's a laundry list of people. But you know what? All he has is time on his side. So do what you have to do. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you are new, make sure you go ahead and hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video or go live.